Welcome to Profit Boss Radio. I'm your host, Hillary Hendershott, certified financial planner and owner of every money mistake you can imagine. I now run a successful financial planning and wealth coaching firm. I'm here to share with you what I learned turning failure into financial freedom. Profit Boss Radio is all about how women like us are authoring our own lives, rewriting the rule book of money, and running incredible businesses. If you like this show, hit subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave us that 5-star review. Are you ready, Profit Boss? Let's do this. Hey, it's Hillary Hendershott. Real quick before we get to the show, I want to share how you can get my comprehensive and virtual wealth coaching course for business owners. Since I started sharing how I multiplied my wealth from more than $500,000 in debt to accumulating over 8 figures in wealth through neuroplasticity, changing my brain about money, lots of you have been reaching out to find out how you can do that too. So this podcast is loaded with lots of great financial advice from both myself and my guests, but I'll confess, Profit Boss Radio isn't intended to be a comprehensive or done-for-you system. That's why I decided to create the Money Blueprint for business owners. If you want one-on-one access to me, plus all my strategies for learning to command and manifest money, plus your own personalized plan for your business and personal finances, conveniently packaged up into a 1-year transformational course, visit hillaryhendershott.com/MBP. The link's in the show notes for all the details. Well, hello, Profit Boss. I have an exciting topic today. Today, we're talking about how to get students free money. Free money. So with me today is Rhea. She is the president and founder of Scholarship Solutions, which is a premier scholarship and college consulting firm. She works with students worldwide, ages 6 months to 90 years young. We're going to have to talk about this. She's an international speaker and teaches students of all ages how to have a debt-free college experience. Very important, very valuable. She was featured on the Today Show and in Forbes and Black Enterprise magazines. Personally, Rhea has earned over $300,000 in scholarships and has helped hundreds of students enter the colleges of their dreams and win more than $200 million in scholarships. That's pretty amazing, Rhea.
Woo, we love it.
How did you get started doing what you do?
So I was that girl who won a ton of scholarships to go to college.
Really?
And I was, yeah. So I graduated high school in 1992. And at that time, I brought with me to my college about $30,000 in scholarships. So that was huge. Moreover, I won multiple full ride scholarship offers to about 4 or 5 different colleges. And at the college that I chose, they awarded me the largest financial package ever in history at that point. So so everyone knew I'm from Las Vegas. And especially in the 90s, we were still a very service-oriented city. And I was the first person in my family, the first person in my place of worship, the first person, almost and only person in my school to go to college. So it was a really big deal. People knew about that. And so since I was super successful, the kids I used to babysit, again, people in my church and in my community would say, hey, Rhea, can you help me to get into college and to earn scholarships? And that's where it all started.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting you to say that. So to what do you attribute multiple full ride scholarships? Like, what is it about you? What did you do differently?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. We are really, really committed to the A and A grades. I did not stutter. We do not have conversations in Scholarship Solutions about A's and B's. My first question normally to families and parents and scholars, we call everyone a scholar. We either speak that into their lives or they're already there. But I ask them, why are you an A and B student? What are you doing that you can't earn A's and A's? So we are all about the mighty A's and A's. And that's the way I was raised. I was valedictorian of my high school. I'm going forward a little bit, but I actually graduated number 9 in my undergraduate program. And in my graduate program, I finished number 2. So I've always been committed to A grades. And that was one of the factors, not the only thing, but one of the factors that surely contributed to full ride offers. And
Wow.
actually, in my book, I'm talking about that right now because I'm discussing all of the schools that say when you finish valedictorian, salutatorian with top grades, we say 3.8 and above, when you have that type of narrative, there's colleges that will pay you handsomely all day for that. And this is outside of scores, your resume, ethnicity, how much money you or your family makes. It's all about the A&A grades. And you can just secure scholarships just in that.
Okay. Well, what if you met a family who said, my student just isn't my scholar, isn't an A&A scholar currently? And, is there hope for a C student?
So there's scholarships for all kinds of people, all kinds of things. It doesn't matter your educational level, your ethnic background, or your economic situation. I have to say that because I'm privileged to work with families who are sometimes of a higher income status. And so their concern is we make too much money for scholarships, and it's just not true. And so no matter what your grade point average is, again, where you are or where you're from in the entire world, there's a scholarship for that. However, I'm not saying but, not going to cancel that out. However, I am very, very, very committed to having people not be okay with earning C grades. And we put in processes, right, in place to help scholars. But yeah, that's kind of my superpower, to change F to A, do it all the time. So people ask, they're like, she's like the magician in that. I turn F to A's all the time. And I'm not blessed to be an educator in the classroom. It's just, again, principles and plans and progressions that we put in place that empower our scholars. Everyone's a scholar, that empowers them and shows them, oh, wait, there's a different way. And then expectations. Sometimes we just don't expect our scholars to do at the top level, so they don't. But no, it does not matter what your educational level, what your ethnic background, what your economic background, and it doesn't matter your grades. Anyone and everyone can earn scholarships. There's millions of dollars that just say, honestly, complete a picture, take a photo. They're not even all essay based. So there's a diversity among the scholarship community, and they want you no matter who you are.
Okay, so does this come down to really taking the time to research what scholarships are out there and investing the time in applying? Is this really what it comes down to? Is that feet on the street kind of door knocking, the equivalent of door knocking work?
100%. I do think that there are strategies that are important when applying for scholarships. And, I'm maybe tooting my horn a little bit, my own horn, but it is important and very helpful when you're working with a specialist, right? It's just like with any other profession. It's like, can you go and defend yourself? God forbid, if you needed to in any situation in a court of law, you could.
I couldn't. I couldn't.
I couldn't either. I had to pay someone or have to pay someone if ever that's been the situation, a car accident or anything else, right? So it's because they have that specialty, they have that opportunity. And so we make that investment because we want it to be the best result possible. And so that's where a company like mine comes in, and any of my colleagues across the nation. There's about 3,000 of us that do that in the US. And so, yes, but it can also be, especially if someone's starting early, and that's our favorite thing. Another mantra we have is early and often, early and often, early and often. What does that mean? You start really early and you do it often as you possibly can. And so when that happens, you kind of get the chance to have the pitfalls and the oopsies till you get it right. And so, yes, there is, again, strategies, I believe, and we're really good at that. I kind of say I'm like McDonald's. It's not that you can't make your own hamburger and French fries at home, but it's sometimes easier, even if it's not healthier, to go through the drive-thru and pick them up. So it's absolutely possible for anyone and everyone to do that. And then sometimes you might want to call on someone like me for help.
Yeah. So I really got stuck on when it says you work with people who are 6 months old to 90 years. And now you wrote young, but frankly, 90 years old. Tell me, first of all, what are people doing with scholarships at 6 months old? And what are they doing at 90 years old?
Well, let me tell you, there are scholarships literally from the womb to the tomb, is what we say. It sounds a little bit morbid, so it's easier to say kind of like 6 months until 90. But really, as long as you're on earth and outside of the womb, there's a scholarship for that.
Really?
And so, yes, so if you're breathing, you get your little hiney spanked right there, start that crying, you can apply for scholarships. And in my opinion, everyone should. So I actually just wrote on a collaborative project, and my chapter was college prep and kindergarten. And the only reason why I said kindergarten is because people are so like, their minds are blown that you can do that beforehand. So in my chapter, I kept saying, you can really do this beforehand. And there's tons of scholarships. There was just a scholarship that was for 0 to 17, which I love those types of scholarships because we all think, right? Oh, you have to be a high school senior. For this scholarship, they really didn't even allow high school seniors. And there's a number of those that say, we're going to think outside the box with that. You don't have to wait to senior year, and we're going to start at birth. And this scholarship wanted them, the theme was to show how you were a king, a queen, a warrior, and or a CEO. Quote, a boss. And so they had the cutest little babies, the cutest little toddlers, the cutest little first graders, kindergartners, all the way up to age 17, showing how they are entrepreneurial, how they're giving back to their communities, how they're just a princess and a prince. And it was awesome to see that. And that was what they had to do. They had to do a video, and it was a $1,500 cash scholarship. So they exist all the time, all around the world.
So what happens if you're 5 years old, you're in kindergarten and you get a scholarship? Is this for college? Do they bank it for 15 years or how does that go?
Great question. So it always depends on the funder, but I'll tell you primarily for 11th graders and below, and I'm not saying below like they're underneath them, but I'm just saying younger scholars. They're traditionally something we call cash awards. So what does that mean? The organization is entrusting mom, dad, and other guardian, grandparent, godparent, whomever is blessed to be in that child's life to say, we trust that you're going to do what you need to do to get your scholar to college. That's primarily. Okay. And I'll give you some examples of places who said, no, we're going to hold that until we know that you go. But the majority of scholarships for younger scholars are actually cash awards. So I have a client who's been with me since the tummy. He's now 6. He's won $25,000 in college scholarships. Yes. Prizes, etc. And so he traditionally, his mommy and daddy allow him to do this. They are Christians, so they tithe off of the money, and he's been taught in that regard. The other thing is always going to savings. You understand about that, right? And train people with that. So they do that. So a portion of it has to go to savings, to college savings. And then a portion of it is allowable for something fun. He's worked for this, whatever the requirements are. And he actually reached out to me just last week and was like, when's my next scholarship? It's so ingrained in him. It's just like his other practices and everything he does. He understands the severity, the seriousness, and what he gets to do because he's been reared in scholarship. One of my other scholars is the same way. He's been with me since kindergarten. He's now a 5th grader. And so I get multiple phone calls, text messages, et cetera, even emails, because he's a 5th grader, to say, when is my next scholarship? When are we going to have our workshop? And that's all he's known, right? Again, those dollars, primarily those 2 scholars, just for an example, have won cash awards. But there's something like a Build-A-Bear. We love Build-A-Bear, right? Unfortunately, their scholarship is no longer available, but the scholarship was only for those who were age 7, again, up to 17. So you could not be a high school senior. And so they gave out a $10,000 scholarship for years. And what they said is, once you show us that not only have you been accepted, but you are enrolled, send us your classes, we'll send the $10,000 to the college. So Coles was like that. Build-A-Bear was very similar to that. And both of those scholarships are real, and they do and did exist. And they started at age 5 for Coles, age 8 for Build-A-Bear.
Oh, wow.
And it's amazing.
Wow.
Okay. And tell me about your oldest client. Do you really have one that's 90?
So he is and was amazing. Oh my God. See, you're going to start me crying. I'm going to try not to cry because this gentleman had gone to college for 60 years. He was actually a World War II vet and had gone through all these different wars. And because of that, because he kept being called and serving our country and leaving his family, he would stop his college process and never earned his degree. So when he found out about us and our company, he said, it's finally my time at 88 years old to be able to finish going to college. And I said, I was just so privileged that someone would trust me. I count it all a privilege to be able to do what I do because people trust me with their children and their parents. And I don't in any way ever minimize that. He, however, was very special, just again, knowing his service to our country. And I said, okay, that's great. And so we have a questionnaire and we go through different things. And an important part of scholarships is giving back, being altruistic, making sure that you can answer the question to what have you done for me lately? I have done fill in the blank to improve my corner of the world. Well, he and his wife had been Mr. and Mrs. Claus for about 30 years, he told me. And I'm like, that's amazing. He's my first Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So I'm like, let's check and see if there's scholarships. There's 25 scholarships for people who volunteer as Mr. and Mrs. Claus. He was so elated. It was awesome. So not only were we able to help him to get it back into college again after 6 decades, to have him find scholarships that were so specific to something that he had done, honestly, sacrificially, like he had served our country. I mean, I'll never forget it. I can't. It's amazing.
So did he graduate from college?
He didn't finish, but that's okay because
he passed first.
Yeah, so that's okay. It's okay because he did it. He was excited. He knew there were scholarships just for him. His wife was just the sweetest woman, and it just was revolutionizing for me and for them to know that something they, again, were doing just so out of their hearts could pay off scholarship-wise.
Hillary here with a quick timeout to tell you how we can work together to improve and even make your financial life 100% organized and hassle-free. As a listener, you probably know my story. I made every money mistake in the book until I finally figured out the power of learning how to change my brain, including my beliefs about money. This allowed me to multiply my wealth to over 8 figures. And since then, I've created a done-for-you comprehensive course to teach other business owners exactly how I did it. I've also been a wealth and financial advisor to women and couples for more than 20 years now. If you think we may be a great fit to work together, go to HillaryHendershott.com and just start a conversation. We provide fee-only fiduciary advice to our clients, which means our clients never, ever pay commissions, and we do only what's in your best interest, just like it's supposed to be for all financial advisors. If you want to see how my team and I measure up as financial advisors, check out our Yelp reviews at HillaryHendershott.com/Yelp. All right, let's get back to the show.
So what if a family has limited time resources and they say to you, you know what, Rhea, we're really more interested in applying for full rides. Like the idea of accumulating $1,500 at a time, given a lot of people are saving $250,000, $300,000 for one bachelor's degree, is like, that's going to take a lot of time. What would you say to that family?
I think that it's great. I love when my scholars make really smart decisions in regard to their college choice. We need to think of it as a business. I know we're like, oh, but it's school. And honestly, it is, but they're a business. So if we can think the same exact way, ROI, return on investment, it is a really smart way to go to college. So I have a scholar right now who's been with me since he was 14. And so he was committed to staying stateside, going to his state college, and living at home. He was okay with that. His parents were okay with it. And they knew immediately they had saved hundreds of thousands of dollars with that. The other things he decided to do was to go to college and high school at the same time. So he finished with an associate's degree before his high school diploma at age 17, walked across a college stage and let someone else pay for 2 years. I call them the money classes because everybody has to take reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? We all have to take it again. He said, I'm going to get that knocked out at the same time, and did that and let someone else pay for the degree. So he started at a local state college. He earned $100,000 cash scholarship. So what you're saying, he put together 2,500, 20,000, 1,000, 500. He did not ignore the smaller scholarships. So although I have a scholar, I was the Black Enterprise magazine, she won $2.5 million in scholarships. But that was, again, among multiple full ride offers. And, and she won a lot of money as well. But this scholar won in cash $100,000. So he stayed home. He's like, Miss Rhea, I think since I won all this money, I'm going to stay on campus. No problem. He has 2 years of school left, $25,000 a year. The college wrote him back because he chose this school again. So they allow you to get money back if you have earned scholarship money over the cost of tuition, fees, room and board in this case. They wrote him a check back for $75,000. Why? Because he had started, right? So he paid his 25, got all of that money, paid that. He's got the next year paid and his graduate degree. Even if he never applies for another scholarship, we are estimating that he'll have about $30,000 left to start his life. What an amazing idea and concept. So I think it's great. And then he wrote me, he has all this money. And he's like, can I get my list of scholarships? He understands that he's using this and able to as wealth building. This is not to say this, please understand. Everybody I work with, everyone is special. But these stories that I'm giving, they're not extra special people and have these extra special gifts. They're folks who have worked very hard, made really smart investments and decisions. And because of that, they are winning at the scholarship game. And more importantly, they have no debt for something that, he might be a business major, and I love that. But if he's not, he owes $0 and 0 cents. He never has to have that stress. It makes my life.
I think it goes back to what you were saying about expectations, because there's so many families who they say, I'm going to handle the finances, we're going to get you through college. And then they have this 22-year-old who ends up back in the guest room because they don't know how to earn. They don't know how to make business decisions. Right. And so I think what you're talking about, raising the level of expectations, makes so much sense, especially kind of given it's not like you can just go get a college degree and expect to earn $100,000 a year, right? That doesn't turn out to be the case. So you have to manage your career too and your entrepreneurialism. Okay. So I'm imagining that you at this point, first of all, are a walking, talking Rolodex of scholarships. Like you must just know them like the back of your hand. But is that, and your yellow nails? And is that kind of one of the things that you offer? I mean, is part of winning this game finding out about the scholarships?
It is. And so it's my thing, right? Again, my graduate career was focused on research. So I have 20 plus years where I've been formally trained in research. And I do feel that God blessed me with this. It's a gift. I kind of figured that out. I left the scholarship life. I was working on a doctoral degree, and someone came up to me and said, you helped this young man literally like 10 plus years ago. And now my son is in the same situation. And I was like, sure, of course I'll help the kid out. And they told someone else and told someone else and told someone else. And I said, okay, it's time to get the business license, make this thing legal. Let's go ahead and start a business for this process. And so, yeah, I'm very, very good. We know terminology and thoughts. And again, I believe that God has helped me to kind of think strategically and really uniquely in order to help find scholarships that not a lot of people may know about or think about. But in general, again, just for your listening audience, if you can kind of think about being a consumer, like where do you spend your money? Is there a scholarship for that? There probably is. So Coca-Cola just closed on October 31st. Burger King is coming up on December 1st. So if you think, where do I spend my money? Think about that and ask, is there a scholarship for that? Because there probably is.
Really? So what does Burger King like to give to whom does Burger King give scholarships?
So Burger King provides scholarships to graduating high school seniors, as well as college students and anyone who's been employed with or for them. Same thing for Chick-fil-A. And it's amazing. So that scholarship is really, really cool because they do not care about grades or scores. What they want to know is, what have you done for your community? It's awesome. Another big scholarship, it's actually, I'm sorry if I'm like going on, I just love talking about it.
No, I think this is great because every example you're giving is like opens up my mind. I'm sure people are listening thinking, I had no idea that was out there.
Mm-hmm. And so again, if you're someone who doesn't have a graduating high school senior, maybe you say December 1 has passed, or I'm not that person. Can you share that with someone who maybe is your neighbor or another family member or a parishioner? Moreover, do you have younger scholars? So can you calendar that and say, we may have missed it for our graduating high school senior, our graduate student, our third year, undergrad student. But now I have someone that's coming up in 2 or 3 years. You want to prepare for that now. That is the main thing for me when people want to really win big at the scholarship game, is preparation, practice, and having a plan. And so it's something like that, saying, okay, I know I don't have a senior this year, but I will next year. What do I need to do to make sure that he or she is the most prepared to win at something like a Burger King, which gives out $50,000 as a scholarship, just one. And then they have a multitude of other types and thousands of $1,000 scholarships.
Wow.
Additionally, Elks Foundation. So if you guys know the Elks, they help our VAs. They are our veterans. They are committed to youth all the time. They're the second largest funder of scholarships in the United States. So outside of FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, that application opens October 1. Everyone who's a United States citizen or resident should apply for FAFSA. Please do not say, oh, I already know we make too much money. That is a part of a completed application. So everyone, no matter who you are, even if you've never done it before, apply for FAFSA. Who can do that? Anyone that's a graduating high school senior to the last degree you want to earn. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I know I deviated a little bit. I'm coming back to it. But that is FAFSA. So I want everyone to apply for that. Don't think about income, okay? But this, outside of FAFSA, the Elks Foundation is the second largest funder. So again, they give out two $50,000 scholarships every year and have done it for about 60 years. So they give a male student and a female student $50,000. They also give a male student and a female student $40,000. Wow. $30,000. Then they give about $20,000 and $504,000 scholarships. Not only is that available at any local lodge, you can win from $100 all the way up to $4,000 or $5,000. So everyone should apply for this scholarship. It is again open to graduating high school seniors. It's always due November 15th. Burger King is always due December 1. So scholarships aren't just fancy. They keep things pretty ordinary. So it doesn't matter when you're listening, when you have a senior, mark your calendars and apply.
Get on the schedule. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Give people an idea how they can work with your organization, because I think there's a more DIY option. And then you, of course, have a more done for you solution. So tell us how you work.
Absolutely. So we have a membership. I love that people call it a village and a community. It's a Facebook. Private Facebook group. It's $19 a month, and it allows you to work on your own. We provide the scholarship information so you don't have to look at that or look for that. We give you tools, tips, techniques, tactics, and tricks so that you can go to college debt-free. My sister and I, who's the vice president of my company, Mrs. Rhea Watson Booma, she and I drop into the Facebook group twice a month, minimally, and do lives. But this is National Scholarship Month. Did you know that? It's National Scholarship Month. So we are right here at the brink of scholarship season, which starts in November and ends when your seat is in the seat, basically in August. And so this is the start of it. And so we've already done 3 lives. We'll do that all throughout the month. And then we'll have financial aid month coming up. We'll do the same thing. And so just a great option. And we have so much fun with it. And what I love is not just my sister and I who are sharing with that. Everyone from around the country. We don't have any international scholars yet. We're looking for you. So if you live outside of the United States, come and join us. But we have so many amazing scholars throughout the country, and they're all working towards the same goal, and we'd love to have you.
Okay.
Additionally, when people say, hey, Rhea, we want to work with you individually, we need more, we don't have the time or want to take the time, we do have VIP services. And it's where you work with us and we kind of just onboard everything, not just you and your family, but also your scholarship and college needs, everything from essay editing. We do not write essays. We don't go to prison for anyone. Okay. But we will write with you. We will not write for you. Okay. We will write with you. We provide you with scholarships that are not just general for classification, but also what fits your spiritual, ethnic, economic, maybe where you're located needs. So that's a great service. And that starts at $7.99 a month. And we'd love to work with you there. We onboard about 20 families a year for that service.
Wow. Okay, great. All right, great. So any way you want to buy in, any way you want to partake, Scholarship Solutions is there for you. And you are publishing a book. So not just the collaboration, but tell us about your book and where to get it.
Yes. So my book, The Scholarship Doctor, is in. That's me. 5 easy steps to a free degree. You can get it on my website, myscholarshipsolutions.com. So it's my singular, scholarship singular, solutions plural.com. And we're everywhere at Scholarship DR on every platform, including TikTok. Y'all help me get to 10,000 TikTok followers, please. I'm like at 7,900. So TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. Yeah, I work with kids. We got to do that.
You do.
Of course, Twitter and Clubhouse.
Oh my goodness.
Clubhouse every single week at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, and we're also, of course, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at Scholarship Solutions, or you can do Scholarship DR, Scholarship Doctor, and find us there. And that's where the book
Doctor.
At Scholarship. Scholarship Doctor, that's me.
Okay. Okay. We will link to the book. We will link to the Facebook group, and we'll link to your main website. And you can send us your social media profiles too, so people can just reach you. They can contact you wherever they're at. Okay, great. Listen, let me round this out. I did have one question that came up. Are there any downsides to being a scholarship recipient? Any sort of costs people should expect to bear or things they need to expect to tolerate that maybe other people don't?
I think you should always make sure that you're in communication and conversation with your tax consultants and professionals.
Okay.
Can be counted as income. That's not what I do. I wouldn't even try to go into someone's, profession, but that is what we encourage clients. Talk to your tax professional, make sure that you're keeping them on board when you're committed to the scholarship game. That's one. Secondarily, today I did just do kind of an impromptu Clubhouse room. And one of the parents was so frustrated because she was talking about how her scholar, not through our help, through their own merit or maybe another business, had earned scholarships that were outside of the college. And so they introduced this money to the college, and the college said, oh, that's great. But now we're going to reduce the institutional aid. So the scholarships they gave from the college were now being deducted because of the scholarships they were bringing on the outside. It is one of the most devastating things for me when scholars especially have worked so hard and been involved in their community and know they won't get credit or profit for their scholarships. So with that, I would just say, be really conscientious of your decisions in the colleges that you choose. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to do something like have a meeting with me or come to a Clubhouse where we're doing those services gratuitously. I do consultations like that. And if you're not sure, try to talk to someone before your child is like committed to their school and loves their friends, because they're not going to leave and you're going to figure it out. And unfortunately, what happens people go into debt because they love their children. They're not going to pull them just because now they're figuring out that the scholarship process is not what they thought. So if you can plan again for that and talk to a professional, it'll save a lot of heartache. And then maybe you make a decision to do a different school and they'll just be as happy and you get to have all the benefits of your scholarships. Wow. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, it is actually. That's very illuminating. It sounds like they really do need to talk to the scholarship doctor. Because there's things, and it's like any financial decision. There's in many ways, once you enter into that opportunity or decision, it's hard to rewind without incurring the cost. So change A's and B's to A's and A's, start early and call the scholarship doctor and buy the book All right. Thank you for your time this evening. We appreciate you on Profit Boss Radio.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
As we wrap things up here for today, I need to review with you the things I have to disclose as a fiduciary financial advisor offering wealth management services through my firm, Hendershott Wealth Management, LLC. You should know that the opinions I express on Profit Boss Radio are my own, and they can change. The content I provide in the show is for general education. It's not intended as specific investment advice, nor do I recommend any specific financial products. Unlike how I roll at home with my husband, I can't guarantee that my statements, opinions, or forecasts are always 100% right. Of course, I wish I could peek into that proverbial crystal ball, but so far, I haven't found it. Past performance is not indicative of future results. I talk a lot about indexes, and I want you to know you can't actually buy an index because, of course, when you take a list of companies and create a product that allows people to invest in those companies, there are fees and expenses involved that reduce returns. Remember, all investing involves risk, which, as you know, means you could lose your money. And I have to tell you that there is no guarantee that any investment plan or strategy will be successful. And that should keep my lawyers happy. Have a great day.